Hello. Today I want to talk about sheet swapping and is it better than navigating your user to a brand new dashboard? So, is it better to have one dashboard where you swap out different sheets? Maybe you're doing month over month or year over year analysis. Or would it be better to have just one dashboard with all of your current month visualizations and then a second dashboard where you have your total year as of today's date? So let's talk about this. I have a Tableau Public dashboard that I created here where I have the current month of data, and one gap I notice is that I'm not listing the current month anywhere, so we don't know what month we're looking at. So that is also something that we should do, is add what month we're looking at. But if we look at this, we've got a KPI sheet up at the top that has the current month of data for sales, profit, total customers, total orders, and then it's also telling us the percent change to the prior month. So that is a very common ask with development. We have a sales over time line graph where we've got the different days of the month, and we have a standard deviation showing us what is outside and what are our outliers for the month. So we can see we've got some red points indicating that they're below the standard deviation. We've got some blue points saying they're above what is expected. So we also have a sales by category. We have a sales by segment with the percent of total here. And then we have a sales by map view for region. And if we go to present mode, we have a collapsible container here where we have our filters in place. So there is this area here that says region chart filter. Well, right now we're visualizing a map. So if I select top 5, I can see I've got my top 5 sales for subcategory by region. So I can see what are the top 5 subcategories that are for central, for east, for south, for west. And then I have them sorted by those amounts. But as you can see here, map or top 5, this is called sheet swapping, where we're literally swapping out the sheet for the top 5 or for the map. So how do we do this? Well, let's go ahead and go to our sheet. So we have 2 sheets, top 5 and then map. Well, if I click on the map view, I don't see anything. If I click on top 5, it is present. So in order to do this, I created a parameter. So I can see over here on the left-hand side, I've got a couple of different parameters. I'm going to right-click on my region chart filter so you can see what is in the parameter. All right. So I created a string parameter with map and then top 5 as a list. So I can see here I typed out map and I typed out top 5 so that my user could select one of these. Okay, that's the first step. As we know, parameters, you have to accompany them with a calculated field in order for them to work. So then I had to create a filter. So I right-clicked on create a calculated field and I created this filter called top 5 filter. So if I click on edit filter here, it says true. Well, what does this calculation look like? So I'm going to search for top 5 filter and select edit. And I could see that the parameter region chart filter equals top 5. So this creates a Boolean value, true or false formula. So if top 5 is shown, this is true. So then I placed this on my filters marks card and then marked it to true. Okay, so if I swap now, and I also displayed the parameter, so if I select map, it disappears because this is no longer true. I can only see a false value here. But if I go to my map is displayed, but there's a separate filter here for map filter. So I'm clicking on map filter and I created a second calculated field for map. So this is that parameter again, region chart filter equals map. So I put this Boolean calculation on the filter shelf and marked it as true. Okay, so I had to do that for both. Now to get it onto the dashboard, I had to use a container. So if I go to my layout tab and I double click on this sheet, I can see, okay, I've got a vertical container here. All right, so both of my map and top 5 worksheets are here. Okay, but not only that, I had to do something in the layout tab for this. I had to go to my layout tab and check this control visibility using value. So this is important to use this way because I also want my title to display. In previous versions, you would have to hide your title if you wanted it to display, but with control visibility, you can now display the title. So I have this as map filter. So, okay, I've got the map view on filter. And if I display the top 5 chart, I also have control visibility using value for top 5 filter. So both of these are checked so I can show the title. And this is considered sheet swapping here. If I were to do this for year over year, I can see I've got 1 sheet, 2, 3, 4 sheets that I could swap out. So this would be a contender for just swapping those out. Maybe I could have some kind of KPI little button or something saying, you know, instead of displaying this as a drop-down filter, I could do I want to see month over month? Do I want to see year over year? I could do that. So if I go to my sheet, wipe out my little filter there, I can see I created a second parameter. So do I want to see month over month or do I want to see year over year? So same steps. I would have to create a calculated field. So I'm going to right click on month over month and say create calculated field. Month over month equals MOM. And this will be my MOM filter. Okay. So then I want to display the parameter to make sure that I can see the different items and make sure I spelled it correctly, that I used a lowercase o instead of an uppercase O. I'm going to put this on the filters marks card and put it as true. So now I can see if I select year over year, it disappears. So month over month. So now I'm going to go to my year over year sheet. So if I go to this year over year sheet, I'm going to create another calculated field and say month over month equals YOY. And I'm going to call this YOY filter for year over year. And I would place this on the sheet. Oh, but it says false. Why does it say false? Because I still have the month over month selected for my parameter. So it's always important to display the parameter as you're building these things. So I'm going to go ahead and select year over year and edit my filter and say true. So now my users could see if they want month over month or year over year. I would have to place these sheets inside a container. So I'm going to grab a vertical container, put it up top here. I'm going to grab the year over year sheet and put it inside that container. And then I'm going to grab the month over month filter, the month over month KPI sheet, and put that in there. But wait a second, it's not displaying anything, and that's because I have to do my selection. So if I want month over month, I can see values for the KPI sheet, and if I say year over year, I can see the year over year sheet. But they're scrunched together. I want one to be hidden when it's not selected, and I want the other one to expand. So in order to do this, once again, I'm going to go out to the Layout tab, And for my year-over-year sheet, I'm going to select control visibility using value, and I'm going to select the year-over-year filter. And then for the KPI sheet, I'm going to select control visibility using value, and I'm going to select the MOM filter. So now I can see they're both there, but one will stay hidden versus one being shown. And I could have an optional title if I want to, but I'm going to hide title here. So that is how you quickly do sheet swapping. So you could do this for all of the other sheets. I could go to sales by category and put those filters in. I'm going to have to put a vertical container. So once again, the rule of thumb is if you have 3 to 5 sheets you're swapping out, that's okay. We have a total of 5 sheets here. If you have any more than 5, then I would recommend putting it on a different dashboard and using navigation buttons to send your user to that new dashboard. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something from this video.